Downtown Minneapolis, it was a beautiful town though. It was considered that. We walked to school, and of course the schools were quite close. I mean, well, 8 blocks, or we only lived across the street from the school, one grade school, and then we had one in every area. And you walked home for lunch. They didn't serve lunch. And when you were in high school, then they served lunch because they were situated, I don't know how many blocks apart. We had 6 kids, but we learned to take care of ourselves. We had more fun. Murphy Square Park was about 4 blocks from downtown, and it was just a whole block, and then it had trees in it, and it had a sandbox. It didn't have swings and things. We played so many games. We played hide and seek, and then they'd be by the telephone pole, and then they say, okay, we count to 10 and we all have to hide somewhere around the neighborhood, and then you have to find us and they come in. I mean, it was just so much fun. We had swimming pools, by the way, up north, and just the buildings were built for swimming pool. So we had all the lakes, and then we had swimming pools. A lot of the men from where I was living would go up to the place where they had the showers. You could take a shower for 5 cents. They couldn't. They had some bathtubs in the houses, but they couldn't afford it. The water. And we could swim a lot. They had a great big swimming pool in there, and then they had showers. Of course, you had to take a shower before you went down in it. But the men would go there and get their weekly shower. Everybody takes a shower every day now. It was a really long parade. It started like up on Lake Street down to Hennepin Avenue, down Hennepin Avenue to all the way through, and it went down to Powers and Power Stores and all and stopped there. And they had, the parade was really fantastic. And they had bands, they had all bands, and then they had the Miss Minnesota on the Queen of the Lakes. It was a lake theme, because we have so many lakes. Can you imagine both sides of the road, just everybody? They all sat down in the car. They even bought their little mats to sit on. The Aquatennial Parade was so good every year. It was so big. The streetcars and the tracks, and yes, you had streetcars and taxi cabs, and people seemed to take the taxis a lot, and lot of people walked, put one foot in front of the other, but they don't do now. And we walked downtown. We lived on 5th Street, so we would walk downtown all the time. Sometimes we didn't have anything to do. We were downtown. We'd go through all the stores, Dayton's, and all the department stores. I was just interested in it. I was in love with it. I just could walk anywhere. I could go into a store, and I'd go into a store or any place around there, and I'd stand at the candy counter and they'd say, okay, looking at the candy. They said, gosh darn, how can you be out? Because I was so little. For my age, I was little. I'd say, just looking at the candy, and then give me a piece of candy and go home. And then I'd go home, and my mother would cut it up for 4 pieces for the kids. To be a child then was so much fun. toughest part was on men. It was on Washington Avenue, was called Snooze Boulevard. And that's where everybody went. It was Depression, and people would get off the trains down there to the railroad track, because a lot of a lot of men would leave their families because they couldn't support them. Very respectable men, but they just couldn't face the fact they couldn't support their families. Sometimes they would be laying there drunk or something like that. But everybody was afraid to go down there. They didn't realize that they were people. There were hunger kitchens, and nobody had to starve. And we'd always bring them something, or we'd just go home and get something for them, and then we'd run down there again. But nobody hurt anybody. It was just good then. People were good. It doesn't sound good to anybody else, but it was friendly, and they had a lot of things that just like any town, anyone who's been in any place, and better than most places. They had a certain, whatever you call it, about it. It was just classy. Everybody else, my whole family, they think, I don't want to think about that, it was so terrible. I thought it was wonderful. I mean, I took the best out of it. I've done it all my life anyhow. And I thought, geez, I was always telling stories about this thing. And they said, really, really, really? They couldn't imagine. I just thought, they didn't know nothing. Oh, I was always proud of my little